I'm Erica Salvemini of Just for Paws Pet Spa and Academy in Lyndhurst, New Jersey. This is Melvin. Hello, Mr. Toast. We are going to give Melvin a grooming here today at the Academy, but before we even take him into the bathing area, we're going to start out with the basics. We're going to clean the ears, pluck them if they need plucking, cut his toenails, file the front ones so they're smooth. We're going to shave out the hair around the private area and the little booty if we can, if it's not too dirty and soiled. If it is, then we wait. The girls will take care of it in the bathtub, or gentlemen, during the bath. And then when they come back up here, when Melvin comes back up here for his grooming, we can properly cut the hair around the tushy area. We'll probably also cut the hair around the pad, underneath the pads, and scoop that out. And if there's any time left over, maybe we'll show you how to round some feet today. All right, Mel, what do you think? Come on.
Pretty Melvin Toes.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, so first, obviously, we talked about this in another video, but if you haven't seen it before, proper safety for putting a harness on your dog. And Melvin does have trachea issues. Some refer to it as the backward sneeze. So we're going to make sure not to put the harness around his neck, but rather around across his chest and under the armpit. So let's go ahead and do that. He's resisting a little bit. Melvin is not a real true fan of grooming, so we go slow and nice and easy. Easy peasy.
Yeah, he's never had a great time at grooming. He's been getting better. Yes, you
Absolutely.
have. Better at later years. Better with some love and attention.
Yeah.
If you remember him from the bathing series, it's not his favorite thing, but he does so much better. As you can see, I can actually keep him in a nice little fancy cut.
Yes.
Right? Without having to shave him down.
Fabulous cut. So clearly, he's not all that bad, because he does let Mom do some cool things on him. So there we go. Now we've got him set up. I notice I did everything slowly, carefully, quietly, as to not disturb him. So no false moves means that. And we're going to also...
I wanted to remind you about the pad that we have down, just in case
Yes.
anybody is wondering.
Yes. So we put a very luxurious, nice, thick plush pad down on the table, as Rose pointed out. Thank you. And that is because Melvin's older. He has joint issues, some arthritis, so it gives him a little bit of extra cushion. Imagine working all day standing. You want some kind of, what are those things called that they put on the floor? For
Anti-fatigue mats.
Anti-fatigue mats. So that's what we're trying to help Melvin feel better and be comfortable. And then there's less likelihood of him doing the dancey. They pick up and up
Yes.
and down, up and down. You'll see
Little
that a lot
massages.
with the overweight pets. So what we're going to do here first, we're going to wait to cut the toenails at the end. For a pet that you either don't know or have confirmed, it's been confirmed for you that they don't like their feet touched, played with, nails cut, all that kind of stuff, wait till the end. Do it last, because if they're going to get mad at you, it's better they get mad at you at the end after you've finished everything else.
Absolutely.
So, and then also if I need a hand, Rose can come over and help me, and much like how we do it in the regular grooming world here, whether it's the academy or in the salon, we're helping each other, and that's really for him, for his sake. So, all right, so what we're going to do first is take some ear powder and see how,
Well, he lets us pluck his ears.
so we'll see if he has hair in his ears first. And yes, Melvin has a little bit of hair. He could definitely benefit from a little bit of plucking. Let's see if we can get a little bit of this powder in, and that's just to absorb any grease that's on the hair in the ear. And you kind of massage it a little bit. And if he's a little fussy, you can always massage the other ear too. It's a nice distraction. Massage, it feels nice. He starts to lift his eyes or not.
And truth be told, for Melvin, hello everyone, he
This
actually
is Rose.
hello. He actually came to me with very, very bad ear infections that were chronic, and the old owner claimed that she could not get rid of them. So ear plucking is always a challenge, and you're going to hear some yips and some squeals from him. But unfortunately, with a lot of sensitive dogs, it's got to be done. And if you go nice and slow,
In a twirling motion.
oh, see how nice that was. What a good boy.
If you do it kind of in a twirly motion, it comes out faster and it's less painful. We believe anyway, or less sensitive for them, because
Exactly.
they seem to not, tolerate it better. It's almost like you're not doing anything to them at all.
I also wanted to stress the importance that I am not grasping or holding this dog at all. I'm not grasping him by the hair. I'm not grasping him around his neck. I've got one of my thumbs just gently graced, it's tipped over the top of his nose, and just kind of holding him away from the throat to keep him stable and secure without being able to turn his head and snip or bite or injure himself by pulling back.
Right. If any of that was going on, we'd want to stop immediately and then decide whether or not it was even worth it. Sometimes you have to wave a white flag and say, you know what, we're just not going to pluck ears today because it's not safe.
Exactly.
And we don't want to push them too hard. So that's perfect. We've gotten all the hair out of that one ear.
All that hair.
I'm going to swab it out a little bit with a cotton ball.
This is also a really good time to note if the inner ear hair has any smell, any greasiness or tackiness to it. A big issue is yeast and fungal infections inside of the ear. And at some points, if you feel a really heavy film or you have a really firm, it's all right, lovely boy, a really heavy, almost like a gross shoe smell out of the ear, that most of the time indicates a problem, whether it be an infection or something else going on inside the ear. That's when we respond to the owner, and in some situations, if it's not great, we'll tend not to pluck it because what you're doing is just spreading bacteria and infection.
That's right.
Right?
Absolutely. Same thing kind of for the teeth brushing. Like if we always offer one of 3 free spa treatments here. And if people, sometimes they will ask for the teeth brushing for the dog, but if we upon checking the teeth, if they look old, if they are rotted in any way, tartar, bacteria, you do not want to disturb that bacteria at all. Like, do not touch it. That stuff goes right into the system, goes right into the bloodstream, can go right to the heart, and if there's any kind of heart condition at all, sometimes maybe even unknown, it's going to, lessen the lifetime of the pet.
You're always just
going to say that.
She's going to affect the dog negatively in that way, and that's what we're trying to get away from that.
Right.
You did very well.
He did
very
fabulous.
proud of you.
So I'm thinking maybe we get the clipper and maybe clip out the sanitary area and the pads. Yeah. So I'm going to use my trusty cordless clipper here, and of course I'm going to use my sanitizing spray. This happens to be Cool Care Plus, but you can use really any product like that. It's 5-in-1, coolant, disinfectant, lubricant, cleaner, and rust preventative. So that's why we use that. It kind of covers the gamut. You always have a towel handy for yourself.
Because it is greasy, if you forget to wipe it and you put it on that dog, especially on a clean dog, you're going to have to go back and rewash that area.
Very sad. Besides the fact that you do not want to get that in the dog's eyes.
Very disappointing.
Yeah, that would really be so not good. Okay, so I checked my clipper. There was a little hair left in there. Get rid of that. We're all sanitary now. And again, trust. Trust is very important. I want to make sure that I talk to him. I tell him everything's going to be okay. Give him some reassuring love before I start picking him up, making him stand. I'm going to lift his feet and basically disrupting him, right? Because he's having a good time right now.
Now he's falling asleep. He thinks this is great.
Yeah. So you got to give a little to get a little, and that goes a long way with animals, especially if they really want to do a good job for you. Chances are they will. You just got to earn it, right, bud? Okay. So with Melvin, because he does have bone and joint issues, we're going to lift his leg up very carefully. Just kind of lift with the joint, and I'm holding it up and in my hand, kind of just propping it. So his foot is sitting on my hand, and he's not resisting and I'm not pushing, and we're both kind of just doing it together. So sorry, but I did it for a little bit too long. That's true. I was talking too long. I'm sorry, but that's the technique. So I'm going to go ahead and lift it up again, real careful. And I'm going to try and shave out a little bit of the sanitary area. So it's basically, the little peach, the belly area. So when he urinates, the hair is gone and there's nothing there to make dirty.
I'm just going to give him a little love and support here. Because again, he's not a fan of this, so.
No.
It's a good boy. Good boy.
Okay. That's great. You did awesome.
What a nice boy.
It's fabulous.
Oh, he doesn't even care. He's stuffing things.
And we'll try and do his bootah. Give me your butt. When you clean the hair around the rectum area, you want to think of it, okay, so if it's a dial, you're going to go up with the clipper, to the side, down, and to the left. So almost like going around a sundial, right? And you're scooping away from the body of the pet. You don't, and the clipper should be flat and flush, not pointed this way.
Never
You do not want to point it towards the skin. It's flush and parallel. Nice and soft, easy, and then you scoop away.
Now, what size blade are you using for that?
Thanks for asking. I meant to mention that. This is a 10, a number 10 blade. It's the most commonly used blade for your basics, you know, for cleaning up areas such as the tummy, the pad hair, the butt area. It's a safe blade. It's not too short, so if you do accidentally bump and make a false move, you won't hurt the dog, because, you know, in reality accidents do happen, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but let's try and minimize that as best we can.
All we can do is stop human error, and that's why we want to do things the right way.
Right.
Yes,
You did excellent.
we're so good. I'm so proud of you.
All right, we'll do a break for a second, and then we'll go back to the pads.
He's a very good boy. And he, like I said, usually is not this cooperative, but we've had a nice relaxing day here, having some fun, doing some stuff, and so when he comes in to get his bath, he is more relaxed when everybody else is having a good time. Right, he's a good boy. No,
He's a good
so
boy.
handsome.
Everything is fine. He kissed you.
You're such a good boy.
That's always a great sign. Okay, so now I am going to help him as I pick up a leg to shape the pad. So I'm putting my arm very loosely just underneath his waist, and I'm just going to kind of hold him up, kind of. So if he wants to sit, he can sort of rest. He knows, you know, he's got my arm there. And I'm going to pick up this leg, the outer leg, because I'm not on that side right now, and I can do it this way pretty easily without him having to overextend himself, and just lightly pick up the foot off of the table. So you want to check to see actually what's going on under here. If there isn't for Melvin, because Melvin is Rose's baby, so of course he's in impeccable shape, but most pets are not. Many of them, but not all of them. So the hair underneath can sometimes get matted if it's too long. Debris gets in there, food, things on the sidewalk that they pick up, gum, whatever. So sometimes you have to go to a 15, sometimes even, you know, a 30.
Yeah. The matting is
that's
that
a
severe.
little scary, and then you bring somebody else over and you have somebody help to participate.
A
with
good
that
tip
process.
for anatomy with the dogs if they have a hard time. This is obviously, yes, I love you very much. If the dog doesn't have any joint or foot issues, if you're having a problem getting in between the toes, you'll notice right behind the largest pad, you can feel kind of like almost like a narrow area before the ankle bone starts. Now, if you gently push, just gently against the back of that, and then just press, it kind of splays the toes a little bit, and then it doesn't allow them to pull their toes back. Obviously, we're doing it very gently, so it opens things and spreads things out a little, so you can kind of scoop up and down away from the webbing of their feet without having to dig into the pads.
That's an excellent point, Rose, because you can go in there and you can cut the webbing with these
Quite easily.
So you got to be careful. Excellent tip. I love that.
Yes. And especially when using a corded clipper, which is why I prefer the cordless clippers, because you don't have to, especially on a dog's.
Yeah, it's far quieter and easier to work with. Mister, so let's see. What do we have left here?
Have we covered all our bases, Melvin?
Did we do it? Shall I neaten your feet a little bit? What do you think?
I think that's a good idea.
All right, so we'll show you how to do a little bit of rounding on. Oh, you know what? Let me show you. Well, you already showed the front foot kind of right there, so maybe I don't need to shave out the pad hair necessarily.
That's a good idea,
We covered
yeah.
both, you know, the front and the back,
The
and
front
how you
and
can
rear.
open up and see the pad and how you can shave the pad. So I think we're pretty good. I feel good about being able to start, you know, combing, brushing, and maybe we'll round it.
I think for this, we're going to take this off for a
That's a
short
great
time
idea.
so we can see his little fluffy pink feet. One pink foot.
There we go.
So we can see what's going on here.
Thank you, Rose.
Don't worry, you'll get it back later. You'll get it back. Yes, you will.
Let's see. Maybe we'll do this one because it's the one facing. Let me go to the back right one here. you start cutting anything where there's hair, you have to brush it out, make sure that, you know, all the knots and tangles are out. Even a coat that's in the best shape, you know, going even from the back to up here, you might have a tangle or two.
Some dogs will lick and chew at their feet and create tangles.
Yes, absolutely. So we want to make sure all the tangles are out in order to get the best possible haircut, which is one of the reasons why bathing is so important. And, you know, we have to actually give credit to that, you know, and really understand and be mindful of the fact that if the bathing and drying process is not done properly, you're not going to get the proper haircut on your table.
I always tell my students the magic happens in the back, and this is where all of grooming starts. If it doesn't go smoothly back there, then you have no chance of a beautiful haircut with dirty, stinky, or stressed out dogs.
You said it. You said it, sister.
Good boy, Melvin. He looks like he has bell bottoms. My little 60s man.
I love it. It's growing in so nicely.
Such a good dog.
He is being such a phenomenal little student here. I love him.
He's our little model.
Yep. This is a nice slicker brush. It's not too big, and it's nice for a small dog. The tines on the teeth are not too firm, so they won't hurt him if you do happen to scrape him. And as I'm brushing him, I'm holding the hair on the palm of my hand so that I can feel. So the brush will actually brush my hand and not the dog's skin. And that's what you do, going layer by layer. You pick it up and you put the hair on your hand. Now, obviously, I've been doing this a long time, so I know how to do it without scraping the dog's skin.
Exactly.
But for somebody just starting out, I highly suggest that you stick to that.
I agree. Same thing with brushing tails, ear leathers. You always want to
keep the hair on your hand.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Your non-dominant hand holds the hair or the body part, and your dominant hand, the one that you use all the time, does the work.
Exactly.
You're using both your hands pretty much all the time when you're working with animals anyway. In fact, you need to grow extra arms when you come in here.
Yes,
sometimes,
you do.
Sometimes you do. So, watch out.
It's good that we have all these extra people that can help us octopus arm.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so I'm just going to do a little quick demo on this back foot here. With my straight scissors, we're going to make a little box on the foot. We're going to cut to the front of the toe, where the toenails are, right to that point, and then to the back of where the hair grows down here, which would kind of be like parallel to the back pastern.
The pastern, yes.
And then we'll cut the side and side. But do the front and the back first, so you know where to start, so your proportions are correct. You do it right from the toenail, and then the back, and then you do your sides. And then after that, you can match it all up and you make your little circle. And that is how I learned when I went to the Nash Academy. Joe Villani was the director there at that time, and it was a wonderful school, and it's really hard to find good hands-on training anymore. So I'm going with what I know, which was the best. And that was what I learned there, and that was the gold standard, Nash Academy. And everybody still says, oh, Nash Academy, yeah. Had an excellent reputation. Unfortunately, there's not too much more out there. So we're hoping that this helps some of you, and maybe if you were wondering about grooming for yourself and you weren't really sure where to go or what to do or how to do it the right way, give us a call, because maybe we can help you. And the website's justforpawspetspa.com, and it's the number 4.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
So let's go ahead and get started here. I'm going to try and do this while standing back here.
It's a good thing to note that she's using those toenails to help guide where your scissors are going to go, because if you don't cut the toenails before your groom, you have a nice base in front of the toe to feel out with your scissors and get a good idea of what's going on underneath. Because all feet are different, but all dogs, at least most of them, have toenails.
Yes. And like Rose was saying before about, we become octopuses here, we also become contortionists sometimes. And that comes into play when you have to go underneath and, do weird, funky things to not disturb your pet and try to keep them as comfortable as possible. And also get to get the really good angle. So you can cut the hair the way you want to cut the hair.
It's not always straight up and down. It's to the side and back and forth and at an angle. And
we're going to show you the right way to do everything, the proper way, the standard, and then we're going to show you the nuances.
Exactly.
Where you can do all that stuff. Absolutely.
Nothing is ever, there's a gold standard for everything, and then you have to have your flexibility for the animal you're working with.
Right.
It's very important.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to take my rounds now, and I'm going to kind of connect the straight parts so it becomes softer, rounder edges. And I've got the scissors angled down on the table and away from the body of the dog. So that's the way I kind of hold it when I hold it underneath the dog's foot. So that way the likelihood of me cutting him is, you know, slim to none.